It really is. When I moved to Birmingham, I got a bit of a shock. I was told that there's a black country next to Birmingham. And I thought, oh no, God, no, not another black country. I moved from one. I can't. But I took solace because this black country, they speak foreign like me. And in this black country, what I thought is that they have an icon, because all the black countries I lived in as icons, Mandela, Mugabe, Idi Amin, and they had Dudley. But one day I went to Dudley, I took a bus at 5:45 in the morning, a number 79 bus, because I was going to go and see Dudley. And I kid you not, the bus was full of blacks, full of Asians and Eastern Europeans. And I thought if I didn't pay bus fare that morning, I swear to God that I was under the impression that I was being taken to an immigration removal center. But you sort of get used to things, and I got used to living in Birmingham, and then David Cameron came onto the scene, and he started this whole thing about the big society, and I thought, well, what's this man going on about this big society? Because all you need in Birmingham, to live in Birmingham, Birmingham is a big society. You need the force of the Equal Opportunities Act to live in Birmingham, and then you need guts. And I've got all three, that's why I chose to come to Birmingham. But he decided, gave Cameron also something that really made me worry for this man's life, that he's going to have a summit on racism in football. Now, I don't know if this guy's right in his head or whether he's actually ever met a Blue Zulu, but now, I've met Zulus in my life, and you don't mess with them. I've also lately sort of thought, well, I'm a bit behind times, and I've got a child and a daughter that's sort of sending me text messages, OMG. And I had to sort of remind this child that, look, Alison, I do not like the language that you use with me. Don't use that kind of language with me. You know I'm socially awkward, and when you do that to me, you make me feel like your mother used to do. But I found out that the internet is a really wonderful thing. You make friends on the internet as well, and I had an opportunity to meet up with somebody that I met on the internet in a forum, and I don't know, all I knew that the guy had a name called Richard. Richard said he'll give me a lift and he'll meet me, and he picked me up, mind you, with the Jaguar. And that sort of just demystified this whole myth for me about the thing about a Jaguar and a hedgehog. Because I always knew that the difference between a Jaguar and a hedgehog is that a hedgehog has its pricks on the outside. But it was a wonderful journey, because he just basically made me realize that it's not just people who drive Jaguars, normal people drive Jaguars too. But come back to the story about the sort of wanting to show my daughter that I'm not socially awkward. I did a bit of research to find out what is this whole thing about social media, because everybody's talking about social media, and it just screws my brains. And I found out that, well, it makes sense to me that social media is almost like a wall, where you get Wikipedia that says, I know everything. Some of it is not very reliable, but anyway, I do know everything. Whereas Google will come along and Google will say to everybody, I've got everything. It doesn't matter where I get it from, but I've got it. You just need to tap on me and you'll get the thing. But then the one I liked most is the internet saying, without me, you're nothing. And that made me think of my ex-wife. This is a true story. Whenever I used to be drunk and disordered, you know what she'd do to punish me? She'll take all my writings and she'll correct the grammar and the punctuation and the spelling and everything and say to me, "You're so bloody useless, you can't even write properly." But I thought, well, I need to do something about this awkwardness of mine, and I can't phone a friend because I haven't got any. I'll ask my mother. My mother's my worst role model. She's a bully. And I said, "Mummy, almost like Rory from Mrs. Brown. What shall I do now?" And she said to me, "I would just give it up give it up. The problem with you is I've always known since you were born that you are like something that's been put together by a committee with weak leadership. All the parts are there, but somehow you just don't seem to fit." I said, "Mommy, you really make me feel bad now. No wonder I have become like Whitney Houston, addicted to so many things. I'm addicted to alcohol, I'm addicted to sex, I'm addicted to work." And she said, "Well, don't worry about that, you can fix it. With alcohol, you stay away from the first drink. Sex, you just have to give your body a break between men. And work, all you have to do is just tell your boss to shove it up his backside and get a life. What you should rather concentrate on is think about all these people fighting in this world. I mean, just look at what's happening in Syria at the moment. Because if women rule the world, there'll be no wars. There'll just be a whole bunch of countries not talking to each other, comparing one another so much. And women have got a screwed up view of the world, so you don't put a woman, look at Hillary Clinton, you don't put a woman in charge of foreign affairs or diplomatic services. Because their view of the world will go something like, I don't like Germans because they've got black in their flag, and black is such a morbid color, no wonder they don't smile. These Germans are always just so serious. And besides, you only wear black to a funeral. But if you look at the Japanese and the red in their flag, you think, oh God, no, I can't stand red. It makes me manic. No wonder these Japanese just work. But then again, if you look at how much work they do, they've got all these corporations like Hyundai and Toyota and everything, and what have we got? We've only got Poundland. But if you look at this poor, the League of Arab Nations and the green in their flag, I mean, I feel sorry for what's happening to the Arabs, really, but their view is, I don't like the green, and I don't like green because all they want to do is convert you to their way of thinking. Everything must be green, green, green. How much broccoli are you going to have to eat to become like a tree? But then, when you look at the orange in the Dutch flag, they say, oh, I like orange, it's such a warm color, it actually accentuates my body. And just look at, it's such a pity that these Dutch has got such loose morals, but then again, they make so much money on the back of the sex trade. And I don't mind going to Amsterdam for a dirty weekend myself. But then, it makes me think, what is this whole thing, we're supposed to be British, what is it about being British? The thing about being British is that they might make you write a test, Life in Britain. I wrote that test, so I know what it's like. And then they say to you, what is Britishness? And my definition of being British is that, one, you drive a German car to an Irish pub, you drink Belgian beer, and when you're drunk, you come home and then you pass the Indians to go and buy an Indian curry, and then, or you go and buy yourself a Chinese takeaway and you go home and you sit on your Swedish sofa that you probably bought from IKEA to watch American TV programs on your Japanese TV. And then you sit and moan about how suspicious you are of everything that is foreign. That's why you don't go to Benidorm anymore, because you don't like to go to abroad anymore, because the Germans are monopolizing the sun lounges. So therefore, I still believe that it is better to be in Birmingham, because you are safer in Birmingham, because it's a big society. Everybody's got guts. Yes, we are forced to live together by the Racial Equalities Act, but that doesn't matter. Thank you for listening to me. I've been Albert.
Cheers, Albert. Right then, about 5 hours ago, we had Alex Crowther on. Then we moved quickly on to Fergus McGonagall. And then we had Graham Milton. And then we had Liz Garnett. Then we had Gabriel Sutton. Alex Rosenthal. Rob Kemp. Then we moved quickly on to Neil Irving. Showing his builder's bum. Yes, I'll have words about that. Then we had Jim Kelly. And then we had the rather nice Albert Smith. Give yourself a big round of applause for coming. And a big round of applause for Nadine and Louise for putting it on. Even though Nadine's not very well, he still turned up. Fucking marvellous. And I've been Colin. Bugger off though. When we on next, Nadine? When we're not having one in March. Oh, it's March, isn't it? March, yeah.